Hey, alright, so this video is going to cover what happened the first week that I decided to go vegan. This was not something that I ever saw myself doing. I have followed a pretty stereotypical, decently clean bodybuilding diet for about the past 5 years. That's meaning 6 portions of protein, between 25 and 30 grams a day. Most of that being animal protein, chicken, steak, fish, protein powder, post-workout shake, egg whites, all kind of stuff like that. And about the same amount of carbs, if we're being honest, 2 or 3 days a week, maybe double the carbs. I eat a lot. And then 4 to 5 servings of fat per day. And I also stuck to the mentality that extra carbs would make you fat, and that eating extra fat was the way to go, because if you didn't eat carbs and you just ate fat, you could stay in ketosis and burn the fat for energy and you'd be fine. So if I was going to binge, I would have a jar of almond butter, preferably the Justin's chocolate hazelnut. That stuff is like crack. Not that I've ever had crack, all right, but that stuff is amazing. I wonder if that's vegan. Anyways, so the first week, the first thing I'll tell you about is I was gassy. And this is because I didn't cook any of the foods that I was eating. So for those of you who, when you're done watching this video, go do some more of your own research and, probably decide that you want to try being vegan, cook your food. Don't go to 100% raw food diet straight from animal products, because your digestive tract will not process that well right off the bat, and you will be so gassy that your family won't be around you. This is an interesting week. And as the week progressed, I learned that if I just cooked my vegetables first, I didn't have a problem. That could have been steaming, sauteing in a little bit of olive oil, microwaving for 5 minutes. It didn't matter. As long as they were cooked, we were good to go. I'm eating right now, this is basically a variation of what I've had most of the week, be a handful of bell peppers, handful of chopped onions, handful of kale, handful of beans, handful of quinoa, and then just some seasonings. And that's essentially what I've been eating, a different mixture, make sub out rice for the quinoa, sub out different vegetables for the bell pepper or whatnot, but just a mix of grains, beans, and vegetables. I've had a little bit of fake meat, like fake tofu sausage or whatnot, and that's good. It adds flavor, but it's expensive, and part of the reason I wanted to try this was to see if I could cut my grocery budget, which I definitely did. Alright, so the first thing that happened was we were gassy, but I learned how to eliminate that. The second thing that happened is my joints felt amazing. I fractured a hip 2 years ago, and I don't really have any cartilage in either hip. And just from about 6 to 8 years of heavy lifting, I've always had some negligible pain in my joints, and some days I just wouldn't lift as heavy. And my workouts this week were incredible because I didn't have joint pain, and this was on top of going from driving everywhere to biking everywhere. So we're adding close to 20 miles of biking a day. Another thing that happened, I don't want to say my skin cleared up and became perfect, because it wasn't magic. However, my skin did look a lot better, especially considering the fact that, again, I wasn't able to do my perfect hygiene the way I like to do it. When you're biking everywhere, you're gonna sweat, and then I would have to settle for like a baby wipe instead of being able to wash my face and moisturize and do everything the way that I wanted it to do. And for some of you who have, a beauty routine, you know that those things make a big difference. If you miss a little step, you're gonna break out. I've always shied away from dairy for the most part, aside from the protein powder, because it didn't sit well with my skin or it made me constipated. But it turns out taking the protein powder out and staying away from it entirely helped a lot. Something else, my period only lasted 2.5 days, which I think is a miracle. I love that. Okay, maybe some of you who are more educated than me wouldn't necessarily consider that a positive side effect, but I think that is fantastic. I will take it. I was not as bloated. I definitely, don't get me wrong, the gas smelled and there was gas there, but I woke up every morning with a very flat stomach, and I was used to going to bed after having 5 or 6 meals and a bunch of water and having my stomach be 3 inches bigger than when it was when I got up in the morning. And there's still a little bit of fluctuation, but it's not nearly as drastic. And I like that. I like not having a food belly at the end of the day. I lost about 5 pounds over the course of the week. I think a lot of that was probably water weight because the sodium consumption decreased. If you're going to eat beans, rinse them. Canned beans, rinse them, rinse them, rinse them. That's another way to prevent gas. And it also gets rid of some of the sodium, which helps prevent bloating. Anyways, so after a week of doing this and noticing that my energy levels were higher, I was gassy, but I was able to end up dealing with that. I was very regular. Now, I've always been regular, especially if I have my coffee in the morning, but I noticed there were 2 mornings that I didn't have coffee that I was still just woke up, cleaned out, good to go. And for those of, like, some of you are going to know exactly what I'm talking about. That sets the mood for the day. If that doesn't happen, the rest of my day is not going to go the way that I want it to go. So this is extremely important. I was very happy about that. So anyways, after a week of doing this, I went out and decided, all right, we're going to have a cheat. And had a little bit of dairy, had a little bit of chicken, had a little bit of, there's probably like some bread type stuff where, you know, there are animal products in the bread, etc. And then I spent the day walking. And my hips killed me. Absolutely killed me. It was like being back at OCS again with just absolute flaming pain. And I trained chest, and I couldn't get the same pump that I had earlier in the week, and chest is usually one of my favorite things to train, and I had a little bit of pain in my shoulders, and I don't know how much of that, okay, is to credit from, it's not like, boom, okay, animal products, suddenly I'm in all this pain again, but there was a significant difference, very significant, enough to make me say, you know what, I think there's something to this not eating animal products thing, and I'm going to keep doing it. So I don't want to sit here and give you all of the reasons that I decided to try this, because there are plenty of documentaries out there that you can go watch and do your own research. But the gist of it is pretty much every disease, all the diseases that take 75% of our healthcare costs in America are either 100% preventable or reversible through a plant-based diet. And that plus the budget for the food was enough to make me say, okay, I'm going to try this. I wasn't going into it thinking, hey, my joints are going to feel better or I'm going to lose weight or anything like that. Another thing, the first day I was really hungry. The second day I wasn't quite as hungry. The third day I ate an entire package of Oreos, and then I was not hungry anymore. Oreos are vegan. I am not advocating going to eat an entire package of Oreos. I'm not saying that's healthy. I'm just saying that's what I did. My workout afterwards was phenomenal. I think it was just having depleted on carbs, because it's harder to get as many carbs as I was used to eating without having those animal products, even though they're mostly protein. But anyways, just some differences that I noticed, and I'm going to continue, and I hope this makes some people want to go do some of their own research, since, you know, coming from a hardcore bodybuilding lifestyle before that. All right, thanks for watching.